Hello, and welcome to Totally Schway Flipside, a podcast about whatever the hell I want it to be about. My name is Mary.
And my name is Luke. I was trying to think of something funny and my brain just didn't work, so sorry.
Today...
We're just going to skip over that.
Yeah. Today, we are going to watch Batwoman with Ruby Rose.
Yeah, just the first episode, though.
Yeah. Have to say this.
Okay.
I am not looking forward to this.
Yeah, I mean, I never watched Batwoman because by the time it came out, I was kind of fed up of the CW shows. There were just too many of them. It ate too much of my time each week to keep up with them all. Because there was Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, and then there was Batwoman.
Tomorrow? Did you already say that one?
Did I? Yeah, I think I just said that one, unless I said the wrong name. And then there was Black Lightning that eventually got folded in. Now, I didn't watch Batwoman or Black Lightning. In fact, there was also the Stargirl one as well, which I think was its own separate thing. So what's that? I was just counting them on my fingers. 7 shows, each of them 45 minutes a week.
Were they all on at the same time at one point?
Yeah, I mean, basically, yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It was way too much of a time commitment, so I just stopped watching.
Can I tell you that what shows that I watch on a weekly basis?
Yes.
So, it's actually 2 now. It used to be 3. But it's 911 and Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, because there were 2 911 shows.
Yeah, right? And then that one, it did, and I didn't even realize, but it was a great one.
Yeah, one of those 911 shows, by the way, I think he's the showrunner, he might just be the script editor, is...
A familiar name.
Yeah, it's a familiar name for people that watch, say, Superman the Animated Series, or the new Batman Adventures, or Justice League, even.
Yeah.
It's one Robert Goodman, also known as Bob Goodman.
Bob Goodman.
He wrote my favourite episode of the new Batman Adventures, Growing Pains. That's just a little tidbit there, because you were watching it one time and I saw the credits. I'm like, that can't be the same person.
Yeah.
And yet it is. Zeta Project as well, Batman Beyond.
Yeah, I really like the 911s. It took me a bit to get into them, because I had no idea they existed until, like, last year. So, yeah. Let's watch Batwoman.
And we'll come back and tell you what we thought.
Yeah, Gilgamesh just got in here, so he's gonna be like, what? Talk to you guys in a minute. We're back.
Yes.
I can't say that we're happier to be back.
Well, I'm just going to come out and say that it was not as bad as I was expecting it to be, because all I'd ever heard from people talking about this show was, oh, it's terrible. But there were some things to like about it. I thought Dougray Scott was all right. I liked his...
Who?
Dougray Scott. You used to call him Dougery.
I know, that's what I say. I like Dougray Scott, by the way. He's great. That's why I was like, who? Because I used to call Dougray Scott.
Yeah, that was it, Dougray.
Yeah, Dougray Scott. It's great that you have your own opinion about the show. Would you like mine?
Yeah, I mean, go on then.
I did not like it.
Fair.
But I'm also one of those people that I liked Supergirl, by the way. I loved that show. But I've only seen the first 2 or 3 seasons. And I loved that. The characters were great. I liked the fact that it was a standalone thing. Awesome. This, on the other hand, I hated the suit. Can I just say that I hated the suit? But you said that they updated it.
Yes.
Is it to look more like Batgirl?
To Batwoman.
To Batwoman.
Yeah, so she's got like literal dark red hair. I think she gets a red, like Batman Beyond style bat symbol as well. I'd have to look it up, but
the action scenes, I could have just... You know what? They should have animated it, and then I probably would have been more interested. And I think one of the main things I just dislike about it is the Alice thing. Okay, what's one of my favorite songs?
Well,
it's White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. That's not my favorite song.
It's one that you like.
Yeah. But I don't like everyone's obsession, not everyone's, but a lot of people's obsession with Alice in Wonderland. It is so done.
Yeah, Mad Hatter, you loser. Jervis Tetch.
I mean, it's done. It's over. It's. I mean, it's not over, but it's just done.
Mm-hmm.
Overdone, I should say.
Right.
And yeah, I think that's one of the things, like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, my opinion of this is going to be bad no matter what. Everything else was good. I mean, not good, but it was all right. But that just really, as soon as I saw it was like something to do with Alice in Wonderland, I was like, okay.
So the thing that I found a little preposterous is that they are non-identical twins. Kate Kane and her sister, whose name I've completely forgotten.
Beth,
that was it, yeah. Beth, who is Alice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the comics, I could understand that she maybe didn't recognise her immediately because she wore a lot of like really thick makeup to make her skin really pasty and, you know, very exaggerated.
But was she Alice in the comics as well?
Yeah,
Oh, gosh. I probably wouldn't have liked the comic either.
But in the show, she had very basic makeup. And okay, they're not identical
but
twins.
It's 15 years later, so
come on.
I don't look like I did when I was, but how old were they, like 8?
Something like that.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to be like, oh, hey, girl. I would have been like, I would have sounded exactly the same. But I would have looked the same.
Yeah, I mean, I still think I would recognise a sibling if I hadn't seen him in 15 years.
See, I've seen pictures of you and your siblings.
Yeah.
When you were that age. There are little bits that I see, but I wouldn't say that I would be able to say, oh, hey, there's a villain right there. It's going to be blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't have noticed.
Well, that's the thing that I found hardest to believe anyway. And I felt it was a bit... I mean, okay, they take it from the comics, but I still think it's a bit just contrived. And
Can we talk about something that you mentioned that I also saw, but you mentioned it first?
Yeah, the first thing that happens when she's doing the flashback to how her sister and her mother supposedly died.
Wait, I think we're talking about something completely different.
Oh, are we?
I want to mention the fact that Bruce Wayne is gone.
Oh, okay.
And Batman is gone. And nobody has really said, "Oh, hey!"
Yeah, nobody makes the connection. They spend the whole time going on. But it's been 3 years since we've seen Batman. By the way, Bruce Wayne has been gone for like,
cousin Bruce is out. See, he's been Audi 500 for a while. Audi R8, actually.
Yeah, for like 3 years or something.
Yeah, like something along those lines.
And then nobody makes the connection. But the thing I thought you were referencing is that one of the first things that I said is they have the flashback to when her sister and her mother were killed in their car accident, allegedly.
Yeah.
Well, I say accident; they got rammed off the road.
Yeah.
Batman is there to save them during the daytime, and I was like, Batman.
Oh yeah,
that's
another thing that I have on here.
Yeah, Batman doesn't come out during the day. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Another main thing.
Go on then.
Where's Alfred?
Oh, he's probably dead by that point. If it's like 15 years after Batman had been in place for a while.
How dare you do a show that is in connection with Batman and not tell me what happened to Alfred? I almost swore there, but how dare you?
Well, he was the password for the computers at Wayne Enterprises.
Yes, but I want to know what happened, and I'm upset.
Do you know how...
there are 49 other episodes to watch.
Yeah, I don't think they'll talk about it, but do you know how he was killed in the comics? No. I don't know if you know that they killed him off in the comics.
No, I did not. I thought he went on and crossed over the Rainbow Bridge.
No.
And
do you want to know?
Live forever. Sure.
So he was kidnapped, and so was Damian Wayne, by Bane.
Bane.
And Bane broke his neck in front of Damian and said, look, you are powerless, you are helpless, you cannot stop any of this. And he snapped Alfred's neck. And do you know what his last words were? Don't look. Very sad. I'm getting all teary now talking about it.
It's very fitting for Alfred.
Yeah, very sad. Much sadder than that show.
I'm kind of like...
Yeah, sorry, I brought the mood down a bit.
Have some really lovely, I don't know why I'm going to say French, like, celloist playing like a song like, you were the wind beneath my wings.
Yeah, but actually that's been kind of surprising about the comics because they've kept him dead. And, I mean, how do you come back from that?
Yeah, so let's talk about, well, let's mention another little thing that I noticed. That was, it was kind of an obvious thing. And that is something that I love subtlety.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we're talking about camp. Now, if we're talking about camp things, I'm all about Captain Obvious. But I love subtle things, which is one of the reasons I loved Cape Crusader so much, because there are subtle things in there that you can say, oh my god, BTAS, or not just BTAS, but so many other Batman related things, including some of the movies as well, that I got from that show. They're having a movie in the park. Okay, first off, I'm really pissed about that because I've always wanted to do that. And I've never been able to do it because first off, I live in England. Once it gets dark, it's never going to happen.
I mean, it's funny you say that, but last summer they did a whole thing about movies in the park. And you could go see blockbuster movies for like £2. And I did ask you if you wanted to go, and you were like, yeah.
No, I'm talking about like movie in like Central Park or something like that. Not movies in England where it's probably going to rain halfway through. Number 2. It's a classic movie. When have you actually, in our lifetime, when have you been able to go to the park and see a classic movie where we lived? Nowhere.
They did it last year, as I mentioned.
I thought you were talking about, when you said that last year, I thought it was like blockbusters as in like Godzilla or something. I'm going to sit here and watch Godzilla in my bedroom while I have my Godzilla Squishmallow.
It was a mixture. There were some things like, more recent movies like the Marvel movies, but then they also had some older movies as well.
Now I'm upset.
Yeah, well, I did tell you what movies were on, and you were just like, I don't want to do it.
It's probably because I was clutching my Godzilla Squishmallow while watching Godzilla, okay? What else? Okay, the movie in the park thing. What movie was it?
I think it was The Mask of Zorro.
Yeah.
It was a Zorro movie, anyway, and that was a nice touch.
It was a nice touch, but it was just so obvious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love subtlety, like I said. And I was just like, ugh. I think I was still, by this point, I think I'm still pissed off about the Alice thing. And that did not go well with me. Because if not for Alice, I would have probably not, I don't hate this, by the way. I just did not, at that point, I was just like, ugh. Oh, and the knife thing. Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
Like, anybody, come on.
With the butterfly knife where she's
come
flipping it
on.
around. Yes, that tells us what a badass she is.
Oh,
yeah.
Sister, please. Like, come on. Who didn't have one of those? I'm sorry. Again, I'm from Oklahoma. And I had a stepdad that taught me the key thing. The, keys in between your fingers when I was like 4, okay? Give me a break. A knife does not make you badass. You know what makes you badass? Not telling people about the knife. And if they try to mess with you, you're like...
Shank them.
Yeah, you just... First off, you do a dance like they do in, any Broadway show. And like... You make those noises and then you show them who's boss. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I had a similar reaction to you in the opening, where you see Kate is trying to remove a pair of handcuffs underwater, under ice. This is part of her training so that she can join
the Crows.
The Crows, her father's paramilitary group.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, listen, I'm not a soldier, all right?
No, you're not.
I'm not a soldier.
No.
I make no claims to being a soldier, but I am 900% certain that they don't tie up, say, the Marines, chuck them underwater, and say, right, now you've got to be able to remove your handcuffs and then swim out.
Hear me out.
Go on then.
You don't know this.
I know it.
No.
They make them run around fields and shout at them.
In very weird climates, but I get what you're saying, and I agree, but there are things that, like the SEALs and stuff do, because, they're SEALs, and they don't all of the time that they're in front of people, they don't always have one of those like rainbow striped balls to play with.
Yeah,
you got what I was.
Yeah. Yes,
but anyways, I get what you're saying, but how else would you know she was the badass?
Well, all I'm saying is it was a bit extra, a bit try hard, and particularly because she says that she knew that her father was never going to let her join the Crows anyway, but she was doing it. I guess just on the off chance that he might.
You know this is a CW show, yeah?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's kind of obvious, yeah. They've got a very... I mean, this is one of the things that I suppose that is quite... impressive is not really the right word. But when you're watching one of these CW shows, they've got a very recognisable style in the way that they're shot and the way that they're edited.
And acted.
And acted, yes. And I'm not saying that it's bad.
No.
But it is very distinctive, and it may not be to everybody's taste.
Yeah. So I agree with you. Like, I don't think it's bad by any means. I've watched worse things willingly. I'm trying to think of something that I watched that's like kind of like not great, but I still watch it. Don't you dare say Sex in the City. Don't you dare. Don't you dare, because that's phenomenal, Emmy-worthy acting, and you better shut your mouth. Don't you do it. And don't you even talk about it just like that. Don't you dare.
Did you even watch the second season of that?
Yes, I have.
Oh, I just remember
I told you about what happened at the end. Who came back.
Oh, that Aiden guy.
Yeah, and obviously Samantha. Spoilers.
Oh, yeah. Oh God, no! We've
ruined.
Luke
was actually, you were on one of the days. I think it was like on a day that you had work or something, and I sat here and watched it. And oh my God, I'm pretty sure our neighbors would have heard me when I saw Sam come back. I was like, ah! And it was elongated, and it felt nice. We're talking about Batwoman now. Yeah, I've watched worse things willingly. And I you could even if you did not know this was a CW show, within 5 minutes of watching it, 2.5 minutes of watching this, you'd be able to be like, oh, it's on the CW, or UPN, or the WB, something like that. But yeah, I think Ruby Rose and myself both could work on learning how to do choreography better.
Are you going to learn together?
No. Unfortunately, I don't live in Australia. I think that's where she lives. Well, I don't care where she lives.
I think she's from Australia. But
yeah, she is from Australia. I don't live in California. That's where else she would live. I'm just saying that to be a bat lady, we'd need to work harder. Because I mentioned that, didn't I? I wasn't a fan of the choreography, but it wasn't just Ruby Rose. It felt rushed.
If you compare the choreography in Batwoman, which was released in 2019, to, say, Netflix's Daredevil, which was 20, I want to say 17, but it might have been.
It was before this, and that's kind of before. And Jessica Jones and Luke Cage.
Jones and Luke Cage. Yes.
It doesn't matter if it's Ruby Rose or
Charlie Cox as Daredevil, or
it doesn't matter. It's the fact that there was more. The choreography, it needed more, and I don't necessarily think that was Ruby Rose's fault. But what I am trying to say is both of us, I'm trying to not make it sound like I'm picking on her, because I'm saying I would need help with the choreography as well. Yeah,
I just think the choreography, like the fight choreography, wasn't particularly inspiring.
It's not on par with some of the stuff that we had already seen at that point.
No, but if you think about, say, I mean, you may not even remember this scene from Daredevil. It's called, like, the corridor scene.
I didn't watch Daredevil.
You did watch the first couple of episodes.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But it's basically it was all filmed as if it was one take. There were a couple of bits where they could have made cuts.
Yeah.
Where he basically walks down the corridor. He's got like some chains. And that actually might have been the season 2.
I know what scene you're talking about. I don't remember watching it with you, but I have watched it since then as well, and it was beautiful. Yeah,
it was very well done, very memorable. Which reminds me, I haven't started watching Daredevil Born Again yet, because I don't know why. Maybe when I finish what I'm working on at the moment, maybe I'll watch an episode.
Yeah. But no, I didn't mind. It did take me a while to figure out that Ruby Rose was doing an American accent. Not saying that she sounded Australian or anything. It's just, whenever I think of Batwoman, I always automatically think American, and she gave American. Her accent was great. Don't Dougray's accent was pretty good.
Well, he's had lots of practice, hasn't he?
Yeah, some of the stuff wasn't as great. In terms of accents, but have you heard my English?
Dougray Scott's accent, you thought it wasn't good?
No, not in this one it was good, but in other things I've seen it hasn't been good. But have you heard my English accent?
Do you want to do it for everyone?
No, I don't. Yeah, there's a reason why. I like Dougray, though. I like Dougray a lot.
Yeah.
The lady who played Sophie didn't get to see much, but what I did see was the love triangle that you saw before you even knew what this show was about. Because it's a CW show, there's always a love triangle. Yeah, that's did not surprise me, but hey ho.
No, but I found myself thinking, this husband of hers that they shoehorned in. Like, where was that guy when his wife had been kidnapped by Alice and her men?
He said he just got back.
Yeah. She'd been gone for ages.
But
was he walking back?
Kate, literally, as soon as she got out of that ice, she got the call from the girl who talks a lot.
Yeah,
Kate. That's like I said. And she was there. Like, excuse me, hello, where's Sophie at?
She was there the next morning. Like, her husband must have been walking back from bloody Macedonia or something. I don't know.
Or Massachusetts.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Well, I don't know how far away
loafers
Massachusetts is from Gotham. If Gotham is in New York State,
it would take a while.
Yeah, I suppose so. So I guess he must have been walking. Or, maybe he just wasn't that concerned. He was like, she'll get out of it. It'll be fine. Let the professionals handle it.
Maybe he was on a scooter and it ran out of juice.
Maybe.
And we're making excuses for this guy.
We are making excuses
God.
for this loser that had like 3 lines of dialogue in the whole episode, and he's just there to create a bit of dramatic tension.
Yeah.
No actual character of his own.
What did you like about this? I think I've never heard Luke anything about Batman. I've never ever asked him this and him take this long.
Yeah, I'm still playing for time actually.
But it's nothing to do with I don't think the acting in it was okay, actually.
Yeah, Dougray Scott was the best thing in it. I like Dougray Scott.
The acting in it was great, but I think that the story, it could have been done better.
Yeah, I liked the Gotham City. I liked how the city looked.
It was very much Batman rather than New York City.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Yes, I do, yeah, because it had kind of like the kind of vaguely gothic. Oh, I'll tell you what I really liked. There's one particular line of dialogue from Dougray Scott where he walks over to one of his security guards and he goes, "I don't like that building."
Oh, yeah. I don't like the look of that one, or something like that. Yeah.
I don't like that building.
Oh, and that stupid guy. The one I didn't like. I said I don't like him.
The stupid guy.
The guy that was supposed to be looking out for Sophie, and then he ended up being part of the one of the people that actually like whatever. Yes, who cares about him?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. So basically, I like Dougray Scott and I like the look of the city. I didn't mind the Batsuit as it currently was, in the first episode. I didn't mind it. The head looked a bit bulbous. Mary hated it. As soon as she saw it, she went, "I don't like it." Yeah,
I don't.
But it's going to get customized later with like a wig with actual like red, not ginger, red hair.
Mm-hmm. Or you can ask me what I like about it.
No, I'm still trying to think about what I liked about it. Some of the humour with Luke Fox was okay.
Oh yeah, I liked the Luke Fox. That was refreshing.
Yeah, I mean it's. I think these CW shows have characters like that all the time, like the comedy nerd character, like Cisco in The Flash, or what's his name, Windshot in Supergirl. Oh my god, it's really formulaic. It's all falling together. Like, it's following the same formula.
That's UPN WB. That's like literally there is a formula, and I wholeheartedly think that it has to be like that. Mm-hmm. There has to be a love triangle from the beginning, or the remnants of one, and then you go into the past to talk about it, and then it ends up being in the future.
Yeah.
Gilmore Girls. Which, by the way, I don't hate that show.
No, I know you like Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, I do. Or what was another one? Gossip Girl. I can't think of any other CW shows.
Smallville.
There's a couple of triangles on that one.
Was Dawson Creek a CW show?
So, I think so. Was there a love triangle on that?
I don't know. I never really watched it, but I bet there was.
I'm sure there was. The blonde one with the brunette is probably...
But what about the redhead? Why is no one talking about the redhead?
I don't think there was a redhead.
What?
I think it was like... Not Sarah Michelle Gellar. What's her name? Katie Holmes. And the lady that played Marilyn Monroe recently. Well, I say recently, like 5 years ago. She's blonde. She used to go out with Heath Ledger. What is her name? I actually really like her as an actress as well. I'm going to have to look this up because it's going to bother me.
Okay, well, I'll just talk about things that I didn't like about the episode. So, I think I mentioned this already, but I didn't like the running narrative over the top, like with Kate's voiceover. Now, they revealed at the end of the episode that she was writing in Batman's journal. Now, frankly, if I was Batman and I'd been away for 3 years and I came home and found my cousin had been writing in one of my private books, I would be very unhappy about it. I'd be like, what the hell are you doing?
Michelle Williams.
Thank you. What the hell are you doing writing in my private book? Those are for my private thoughts and not for anyone else.
Can you just tell the people what I would say? I would throw a fit, like a tantrum, if someone was writing in my journals. Like, I would, because I know that's my business. How dare you, Kate?
Yeah. Entitled is what she is.
We really don't like this show, do we?
No, I don't mind it.
I sound so mean.
I think it's on par with the other CW shows. So if you like The Flash or Arrow or Legends of Tomorrow...
Sorry I interrupted you.
It's fine.
I really liked Arrow. And I liked The Flash. And I liked Supergirl. Legends of Tomorrow, I think I saw one episode. And then because it was so saturated at the time that I just couldn't even.
Yeah.
I could not even. And I think we were moving at that point too, so we just kind of not lost interest, because we're still interested in watching the rest of it, but it's just lost hope of ever catching up.
Yeah, well, I think it was a missed opportunity, because I know they cast Kevin Conroy as Bruce Wayne during the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, but they could have done it earlier. He didn't have to be missing, he could have just been injured.
Anyone, if you know anything about this show and you've actually watched all of the episodes, can you please tell me if they ever tell you what happened to Al?
To Alfred?
Yeah.
Or Bruce Wayne. The other thing I would wonder, do any of the other more recognisable Batman villains turn up? I would assume not.
I was so happy. I know they did mention Joker.
Yeah.
A few times in the newspapers, but I was so happy that I did not see a Harley Quinn, a Mr. Freeze, an actual Joker, and a Bane. I was so happy.
But if Killer Croc had turned up, you'd have been happy.
Probably, yeah. I don't think.
Well, given Alice is in there, surely Mad Hatter has to turn up. Surely, surely. Probably not.
But there's a time and place for those characters, and I think not this. Well,
I know Nocturna's in the show, and they really play up her being like a lesbian vampire in it.
See, that would make sense, because that's not a character that we've seen over and over again, and because even at this time, I think at the time that this was out in 2019, we had already seen the Suicide Squad, and I think we were just hearing that the Harley Quinn movie was coming out, so I kind of had my fill, or I was getting my fill of those characters. So someone like Nocturne, who's not in a ton of things, it's actually, I think that's good, because you get a chance to have other characters and actually see them.
Yeah, I think that might have been her first on-screen adaptation. She might have been in Brave and the Bold, actually, now that I think about it. But I think that was her first on-screen adaptation. It was before Cape Crusader.
First live screen.
Well, definitely first live.
Because there's not... I think that would make a great show. I like because that's the one of the characters from Cape Crusader.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am going to rate this. Let's, instead of doing a 1 to 10, let's do 1 to 5.
Okay.
Let me say what I want after you do.
Okay.
1.5.
You give it a 1.5. I thought you were going to give it a 2. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It has to be 3 humorous items, though. So it's going to be... I can't think of anything funny from the show. Oh, it's going to be like the jewel-studded butterfly knife.
I am going to give it... You know what? 1.5 crows.
1.5 crows out of 5. Sorry,
and the reason being is... You know what? I will give it to Ruby because of Ruby Rose's accent. That's why they actually got the extra point. Because it was a good accent.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I really hate people that go online and like butcher somebody's like acting and stuff like that. And like, good goddamn well, they wouldn't be able to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, could I do that? Maybe. I don't know. I've never tried to do it. I have anxiety as it is, okay? I went out to get new glasses today and I had to come home early. So Ruby Rose did not make me hate this show. The Alice thing did.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Ruby Rose as well is there was some bickering about this show between the creative people. Like Ruby Rose said Warner Brothers were abusive. Mm-hmm. Warner Brothers fired back saying, well, actually, Ruby Rose was very difficult and she made it a very challenging situation. I don't know how that went. The impression I got is that the general consensus seemed to be that both parties were saying the truth. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong, of course. There will be people that know. But
you know what? We don't know what was going on.
Exactly, we don't know what's going on.
And that's one of the things I didn't mention it. One of the reasons I didn't mention it is because we don't know what was going on. We have no idea what the studio was doing, and we don't know. I don't know Ruby Rose personally, although I do think she was really great on Orange Is the New Black.
Oh yeah, I forgot she was in that.
That's where I know her from. And she was in another action movie that was already... John Wick. Yeah, she was good in that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you never know. And hopefully it's nothing too bad.
She played a deaf assassin in that, didn't she?
Yeah.
Do you think they did that to get around the fact that she didn't have a very good American accent? Or am I just being mean?
I thought her American accent in this show, that's why I gave her them the extra point.
Yeah, but that John Wick was filmed before that, so maybe she's got
I know, but it was really good because, to be honest with you, it's better than my American accent.
I mean, chances are they were probably just trying to be more inclusive by having different types of characters, so...
Yeah, it's fine. So that's that.
That's that. So, on average... I can't do an average of between
it's a 2.
3 and 1.5.
It's a 2.
It's like 2.25 or something.
I don't care. It's a 2.
Where's my calculator? Do you know what? I'm going to get the calculator out just to prove it.
I just say it's
3.
The pop socket is going in.
Divided by 2. 2.25. I should have had more faith in my ability, but there we go.
You know what? It's a 2.
Okay, we're rounding it down. That's how we do things around here. We round it down.
Yeah.
So, do you want to go over to the comments now?
Sure.
All right, cool. So we've got, oh no, Big Mikey P's on his second account.
Michael.
Suspended again.
What is happening? Why do they keep doing this to you? I want to know why they are picking on you.
Well, maybe we'll find out when we read out this comment. So, Mikey Part 2 says...
I love that.
Disqualify Clancy Brown in lists nowadays. He's too good and an obvious pick, especially with live-action roles like Highlander's The Kurgan in mind. Always fascinating any time a voice actor has live-action itineraries. I'm curious on Mickey 17. Is it really good or is it only decent?
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was very good. It was what's the word I'm looking for?
It was something new.
Yeah, it was off-kilter. It was humorous. It was a little disturbing in places. Mm-hmm. It was dark. I feel like the political satire in there was a bit on the nose, particularly Mark Ruffalo's. I mean, he was basically playing Trump.
He was. Mark Ruffalo was.
Yeah, he was channeling Donald Trump.
No, it was really great. I liked it because I love Robert Pattinson, obviously. But I also like the fact that I have not seen this movie before. Yeah. Obviously, I hadn't seen it before, but what I mean is that sort of formula in that way I've not seen before. And it was so nice, and my favorite word, refreshing.
This is a very slight spoiler, but I mean, it was in the trailer that there's a Mickey 18, right? The thing I liked about Mickey 18 is that Robert Pattinson was using his Batman voice when he was playing
I didn't even notice that.
You didn't notice that?
No.
Mickey 18 is supposed to be like a bit ruthless.
Evil.
No, he's not evil. He's just like ruthless and violent.
A bit harder.
Yeah, but
harder.
Robert Pattinson was doing his Batman voice.
He's practicing for the Batman too.
Yeah, I thought that was good. But anyway, let's continue the comment. So, Big Mikey P, or Mikey, what's
Part
it?
Two.
Mikey Part 2, thank you. He said,
anytime.
The late Gene Hackman made for a good Luther, but he ain't my Luther. My Luther would have to be a bald, non-fugitive kingpin who just can't be brought to bars easily because of a lack of evidence, enough lawyers, and good PR. Basically, Superman the Animated Series Lex Luthor, and even then Justice League and Justice League Unlimited Luthor was still cool. You guys would love to check out Last Son of Krypton Miracle Monday Luthor. He may have some camp elements like allegiances with aliens and devils, but there's something about him that makes him very interesting, and he has his numerous disguises and cool starship called the Black Widow. Even has his friends with Clark Kent and lost his hair due to his own careless hubris angle from Smallville and Superman Birthright. Wish there were no more body swap voice acting akin to the Great Brain Robbery. Excuse me, I wish there was more body swap voice acting akin to the Great Brain Robbery. It makes for interesting vocal exercises with the voice actors, especially in cases of body swapping involving different genders. Even I think Jesse Eisenberg's a miscast Luthor. Yuppie, skinny Mark Zuckerberg types just don't make for effective, endearing villains at most, and instead feel too hipster and Gen Z cringe period pieces at worst. I think
Big Mikey P, but I'm going to interrupt Luke. Have you looked at the political news lately?
Yeah, I was going to say, Jesse Eisenberg's a millennial as well, so he's one of us.
He is one of us.
They can't have him, Gen Z.
That's right. But no, in terms of like the skinny, curly-haired guy not being the villain, I would like to take you back to my high school. And also a lot of the stuff that's going on in politics right now. Or American politics, I should say.
Don't shear Mary. Straight, thin hair is superior to curlies, afros, and possibly odangos. I don't know what an odango is. But I got to grudgingly admit Spacey was a great actor. If anything, Superman Returns' flaw is that it didn't feel like a proper idealistic Superman film or proper sequel to Superman 1 and 2, the Richard Donner cut. Because of Bryan Singer's weird direction, Spacey's Luthor just couldn't be the same character as Hackman's, regardless if things changed in universe. 2838, if it's me. I have no regrets, sorry. The monsters deserve... I can't say that. We'll get the monetization turned off. And who knows, one must wonder who sanctioned the video demonetization. It was YouTube's automatic detection system. That's why I didn't say what you said. Spider-Man and Peter Parker shouldn't be a loser, though, and shouldn't be wangsty either. Can't hurt being a perfect paragon 75% of the time. However, can agree that grown-up Spider-Man and Peter Parker is best, and the Spider-Verse films nailed it with 2 or more iterations. Now, if only we'll get an optimistic Batman Beyond-esque animated series featuring Parker Industries CEO Peter Parker and Spider-Man No More, and a curious new youth named Ben O'Reilly, the Scarlet Spider. Ben Reilly, thank you. There's no I in that name. Sorry, I'm being a pedant.
You mean O or...
No. Did I say O?
I thought it was O'Reilly or something.
No, his name's Ben Reilly.
Oh, sorry.
Now I'm getting confused. Since I mentioned Yuki Karijura and a fine substitute to Danny Elfman, I'll also recommend Trocadero, Jeff Williams and David Levy for Red vs. Blue. 4301. No, it's not a lack of resources, since they could have been resourceful enough to compensate. No, it's a lack of imagination and nuance. 4440. No, not that kind of hard love. More like the kind that star-crossed, never reciprocated, and or torn by wars, family drama, supernatural shenaniganery. That's a hard word to say, shenaniganery. And so on. For one complaint about Bioshock Infinite, there's how the death of Booker should end all of the Comstocks in the multiverse. Of course, that runs counter to Justice League Crisis on Two Earths World Collide Owlman, and how it doesn't matter, meaning that there'll still be Bookers and Comstocks out there no matter what. Sorry, but Elizabeth's so wrong on her faulty logic, and would like a Bioshock 4 to take hard shade on that. Still think Ben Affleck is guilty of many things, so no sorries, and for that. 50 minutes and 8 seconds. I should have edited out that redundant me. Don't worry. I could have very well have just misread it anyway. Curiously, Poison Ivy showed early off-screen in the Batman Forever Peter David novelization, and Riddler imitated Arnold Schwarzenegger's Hasta la Vista in one moment. Guess Batman and Robin wouldn't happen in that continuity because of those. Well, there's no way of saying that for sure, surely. Speaking of, I'll be curious to hear what Julia thinks of said novelization and the possibility of the Schumacher cut being released on it. John Williams' Superman theme is neat, but I'm more biased for the Superman the Animated Series and Fleischer Supermans, and more partial to his Star Wars and Indiana Jones pieces instead. If the comment didn't show, it's either Shadow Band, or you should check out the newest section. Shocker, I know. I'm still surprised on how good the Superman Red Sun comic is despite the initial impressions. Also love its ending, which makes one rethink the origins of Krypton. And please, no Batman Frozen crossover. Try substituting Frozen instead with Kim Possible, methinks. An hour and 13 and 52 seconds.
But I will riot. In my home, by the way, in my home. I won't go outside into it. I will riot if there's ever, I don't think Batman could be Disney. I really don't. It's too dark.
Okay.
That's my thought. So he's a Batman and Frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was in my head for a moment. Literally.
I think we all are. We've all been put into a trance.
I was thinking of the Weaver song, Dreamweaver, and I was like, na 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 na.
I really want to finish this comment. And I'd like the fear-faking dawn to rise now. Well, can't wait for Criff, not that, and Vilicious. And Vilicious. Oh, goodness. And Vilicious Kate Kane show. I was tripping over my words there.
Kate Kane.
That's
Kate
her name.
Kane.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your comment as ever, Big Mikey P.
Oh, I had a question, but then...
Here we go.
And then I started thinking of Dreamweaver, and I was like, no. Oh, I had a question for you, Big Mikey P. Oh, I do. I remember. What were your thoughts on the newest Pokemon movie that was in the cinemas with Ryan Reynolds? I liked it. Did you?
Detective Pikachu.
Yes, Detective Pikachu. Did you like it?
Me? Or Big Mikey
I'm
P?
talking to Big Mikey P now.
Okay.
But did you?
Are you talking to me
Yeah,
now?
I'm looking at
I didn't mind it. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I did too. I just wanted to know what Big
Enjoyable
Mikey P. I like knowing his opinion on things because it always sees to amaze me that it helps me figure out that maybe I'm not right. Does that make sense? Like maybe I'm just like looking into this not enough, and then when I do, I'm like, oh man, he was right. So yeah, thoughts, opinions, concerns.
Right, I'm going to move on to the next comment now. And it's from Lowell Lucas Jr. who says, "Hey, today it's totally Schway. Clancy Brown is here, and that crabby bald billionaire will make you pay. Viking with kryptonite here to stay." I didn't do a very good job of making that rhyme work. Hey, y'all. Hope you're all doing great and having a super evil business millionaire day. That would be nice. Full of plots on Metropolis, making deals with evil clowns or bossing around poor Mercy. Seriously, though, thank you all for the well wishes. I'm sorry to say my eyes have been in pain, and I may need to up my visit to the doctor as it's getting serious. So I'm sorry to hear that. Also, to our favourite chicken handler, I hope Betty and Wilma are doing fine. Anytime I hear about egg prices and chickens on the news, I think of your fluff babies and hope you're well. Now, on to the Baldy, who hates beady-eyed country aliens. That doesn't narrow it down much. What I love about Clancy Brown is man puts his all into his role. Oh yes, other great voice actors do great performances, but with Lexi here, he leaves the impression on you that's just right. If you want further proof, look at how many appearances his Lex Luthor had in the DCAU. 40! That's counting Superman, Justice League, and Unlimited. With such a prominent character like this, you'd think he'd be in more,
but he had such a presence, he's unforgettable. All swell with Mr. L here. It's even funnier with Clancy's other roles, but I'll bring up some personal favourites of mine. The captain of the Vikings, Hakon, pronounced like Hagon, from Gargoyles. Mr. Freeze from The Batman, including the Luke. Oh, sorry. Mr. Freeze from The Batman. There we go.
Not to be confused with the R-Pat's Batman.
No, it's about 20 years prior.
Okay.
Taskmaster from Ultimate Spider-Man, and Chris Bradford, the Chuck Norris-inspired character that gradually muted into Razar. Even with each transformation, he would change each take on his voice and could be fierce yet funny. It's a testament to his acting and the standard of being a great one. I thank you all for the well wishes and wish you the best. Apologies to you, Luke, for the tome of low. Hope you have some tea handy for your poor throat. You know, I don't really drink hot drinks all that often. I prefer cold things. But to get back to the comment, I've completely lost my place. Take care, and may you all have a great day living as an evil billionaire in your Lex Towers. God, if only I was an evil billionaire.
I could do it quite easily, but I would be, instead of evil, I'd be just reclusive. I'm sorry to hear that things aren't going as well as they should be going. I suck sometimes.
Yes, yeah, hopefully things improve for you very soon. Alright, so let's move on to the next comment from Brian Jones, who says, "Hello, Luke and Mary, I hope you're doing good. Today is nice and sunny where I live. Now for Lex Luthor, I know that John Cryer played Lex in the Supergirl TV show. To be fair, I don't really watch the show except for a few episodes that were on TV. Also, the show is connected to the other shows that are part of the Arrowverse, and I have no interest in watching all of those shows. Probably for similar reasons that we listed earlier. Also, there's Red Sun Lex Luthor, who marries Lois Lane, which is a cursed ship. Yeah. Lego Batman games. Lex Luthor comes to mind when I think of Clancy Brown at Lex Luthor outside of the DCAU. Also, you're right, Mary. You should help and focus on victims and not the abuser. Mm-hmm. And the way Kevin Spacey handled the scandal is offensive to the LGBT community."
Can I say one thing?
You may.
Well, I'll probably say many. It takes less time to say, "I'm sorry. Let me show you I can do better," to the victims than it does to go on a publicity tour feeling sorry for yourself. That's all.
Yeah. Mary, why do you not like nearing seagulls? Oh, why don't you like seagulls, Mary?
Because they're the devil.
Yeah, we used to live by the seaside.
They stole my chips.
Yeah, I took Mary, when she came over for the first time, I took her to the best chip shop in town. I know, fancy. Big spender here, but we were walking along the seafront and the seagulls...
Like Peter Cushing's binge.
Yes, yeah, the seagulls tried to take the chips from
No, they
her.
didn't try. They did take some of them. Don't...
Yeah, but you offered them up.
Yes, I did, because I literally threw them out. I did not want seagulls to get right up next to me.
They took that as an invitation to come and get the rest.
Because I think I was a little bit horrified because I didn't realize how big seagulls were, because I've never seen one that close. And I think they're cute and all, but I love pigeons.
So to continue Ryan's comment, he says, "I've been watching The Lion King recently, and every time I watch it, Scar gives me Prince Andrew vibes."
I know, right?
Every time he says to Simba, "Remember, it's our little secret." Oh dear, oh dear. For next episode, I only care about the Kevin Conroy parts of Batwoman. Yeah, I feel the same way, to be honest.
Oh, Mufasa's on Disney Plus now in the UK.
We made our cat... Well, we didn't make. We watched the live-action Lion King, or the CG Lion King, I should say. And our cat Apollo was very interested in it.
He loved it, but he stopped watching it.
Yeah, when Mufasa died, he got upset and left.
He was actually, like, into it. But when that happened, it's so crazy. But apparently loads of animals do that. It's so cool. Speaking of that, this cat never comes up here when we're doing the podcast, but he's actually on the desk right now.
Yeah.
Because it's his alone time with us.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, well, thank you for your comment, Ryan. So, yeah, I finished the comment, didn't I? So let's move on to Doc Widener next, who says,
Duh!
"Thank goodness you're here." You still haven't played that, Mary. "We will see how long this is. The last couple of days have been dealing with sore throat and just feeling exhausted. I have barely been out of bed since Friday night.
Aww.
I never warmed to Jesse Eisenberg's Luthor, which I think is mentioned in the comments, which is coming up, but it was more I didn't like Snyder's take on Superman as a whole. I enjoyed him as Blue in Rio and Columbus in Zombieland. I also wasn't crazy about Hackman's Luthor, but again, I think it was the way he was written, not how it was performed. Stan Jones on Super Friends would have been the first Luthor for me. Michael Rosenbaum is probably my second favourite Lex after Clancy, though Giancarlo Esposito is right up there as well. Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito plays him in Harley Quinn, I believe.
Those were my first two, weren't they?
Clancy Brown and Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
I can't remember now. It certainly wasn't
Gene Hackman, John Shea.
the 2006 one.
Oh, no. I enjoy him and everything he's done. John Cryer's Lex in Supergirl was much better than expected. Sort of repeating myself since almost all but the John Cryer comments were in my comments. You're fine. Replying is up to you. Mostly I felt like your speech at the end about the state of the world deserved a response. I suspect the last part of the comment got wiped for political content, which sadly took out stuff relevant to most of the video. Mary, you got it, which is the important part. Been enjoying the new season of Daredevil. I know you will wait on all of it so you can binge. Also working through Harley. I still haven't watched the latest season of Harley Quinn or Kite Man. They're all on my list, but I'm so busy knocking out videos.
I've seen really good things about Kite Man.
Yeah.
Like people, I say that, and I've seen maybe 3 things about it, but usually when I see three things about like a show, it's like 2 bad things and 1 okay thing, but I've heard really good things about Kite Man.
Yeah.
And Harley Quinn, obviously.
So continuing the comment, he says, managed to drag myself out of bed to take Daniel to PSR, but must have been cancelled. Oh dear. Or everyone but me forgot about the time change. Souped up at the grocery and making some chicken noodle soup. They were out of chicken breast in the meat section, so going with canned. Splurged on chopped celery because I don't feel like chopping up, though I may have to chop some baby carrots. One additional medical suggestion after last week's advice about trigger points is a neti pot. Currently, what ails me does not have me stuffy, but any time I feel that coming on, I noticed and almost always feel better, or at least not head congested. So yes, Mr. Time is relative. This is shorter also. As always, I enjoyed my Sunday brunch with you and the others.
So the neti pot thing, I have to do. I'm not. I think we have them in the States as well. We have these. It looks like an aerosol can, but it's filled with saline. And once a week, I do that to my nose, and I've been doing that for nearly 2 years because I think I had my surgery nearly 2 years ago now, my septioplasty. Mm-hmm. I have to admit something. I enjoy it too much. I enjoy that, but it's basically a neti pot, but it's just sterilized water instead of boiled water.
Well, I know there have been lots of bugs going around recently, and the thing I find fascinating, so I work with a globally distributed team, and it's funny seeing, we were quite sick in January, where we had had a nasty virus that took 3 weeks to clear.
With both of us, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it wasn't COVID, it just felt like a really bad flu. But in speaking with my colleagues across the globe, finding that they have had the same thing, I'm thinking, how the hell did this get all the way to Korea? How the hell did this get all the way to San Diego,
It's
anyway.
So, I think a lot of it has to deal with finally settling down and stuff after Christmas, but I don't want to get sick again.
No.
I hate when people are sick because I understand that, and I think it's from having the nose problem for as long as I did. I had broken my nose a few times as a kid, so my nose didn't actually function properly. So when I was sick with anything that dealt with sinuses or chest or whatever, I felt it from my ribs to my top of my head. And I just never want to feel that way again. But thankfully, after having the nose surgery, it's been a lot better, hasn't it?
I think so, yeah. All right, so next comment is David Carney, who says, hi, Mary and Luke, hope you're both well. For me, 2 of the best live-action Lex Luthors are the late, great Gene Hackman and Michael Rosenbaum. Michael Rosenbaum's version in Smallville is so good it makes you feel sorry for him. Also, Clancy Brown was perfect casting for Superman the Animated Series. Have a good week, both. Thank you, David.
Clancy Brown could make me buy an MLM product. I should have said that in the original podcast, but I'm just gonna say, if he said to me right now and put a video on like a social media thing and said, "Please guys, buy this. It's not good, but it's an MLM product, but I'm telling you to buy it," I'd be like, just, should I send you a picture of my credit card, or
here are the keys to my house?
Yeah.
Okay, next we have A1ML33Y Julia Raoul, who says, "Hello, true believers, Mary Marvel and degular Luke." Oh, I feel like I've been getting downgraded recently. Like I was the absolute goddamn Luke, and then I was something else, and now I'm just regular degular. And let me tell you about my favourite variants of Lex Luthor. First up is Clancy Brown, because he has a very lovely voice. That's the Lex Luthor I hear in my head whenever I read the 90s comics, including when Lex had hair in his clone body. He's my favourite just for how he's played. It has sold me as a kid and teens in the 2000s. I like crazy mad science business Lex with his beef against Superman in the DCAU. Live action wise, I like John Shea Lex Luthor, who also had hair. He was post-crisis Lex Luthor, but more into his jilted lover, who still wants to get back with Lois Lane. I like that he had a sense of humour. Looks like having a great time being evil, trying to humiliate Superman. I also like that Lex Luthor was the founding member of the Legion of Doom in the Super Friends and Justice League Unlimited. I find it cool because he's on a team with Solomon Grundy and All Brains. What is a decent pair of... I'm not sure what this word is. It's PABTS. Decent pair of pats. With a laughy emoji. I'm probably misunderstanding. I apologise. Gene Hackman, Lex just reminds me of superheroes Lex, and I like his team of Otis and Miss Tessmacher, and Lexi from Superman 4. It's a Lex I got... Oh, Lebby from Superman 4? It's a Lex I got a good laugh out of. I hate Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor in Batman vs Superman. I seriously hate that movie and most of the depressing DCEU. Eisenberg was terrible, just like Jared Leto Joker. I couldn't take either of those punks seriously. This evening in movie jail with Gal Gadot, war criminal Ezra Miller, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck and The Rock, and Zack Snyder for making terrible DC movies. Off to movie jail they go. But yeah, I wish Billy Zane could have played Lex Luthor in something. I feel like he would have played a very sarcastic and very, 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 very cheesy Lex.
I can see it.
But sadly, he's not going to be in the upcoming James Gunn Superman movie. But hey, a girl can dream. Lastly, I've been thinking about collecting DC. I really want DC figures of Wonder Woman, Donna Troy, Raven, and Batwoman, Kate Kane. I have yet to see McFarlane Toys have any of these, but I want figures in scale with my Marvel Legends.
Well, I don't think you will see them either.
No, well, they're going back to Mattel next year,
but I think I have hopes that there's going to be a Wonder Woman Barbie again. But if you and I get together and we just make a bunch of email accounts and we email Barbie saying that we want Wonder Woman, and then we describe in detail what we want, maybe they won't block us and they'll listen to us.
Anyway, thanks for reading my comments. I know I nitpick a lot, but I feel that Warner Brothers DC should do better and be as good as Marvel MCU. I feel, but that's all for a minute. Oh, but that's all. For a minute, I thought I had pissed off Luke with how much I don't like the Absolute Universe. No, of course not. We all like different things, and if you don't like it, that's absolutely fine. Yeah. Don't you worry about it.
Luke rarely gets pissed off about this part of the YouTube stuff.
No. I don't mind.
I don't think you ever have, actually. No, it's only comments that are on your lockup video.
It's not just that. No, I don't mind people having different opinions to me. They can come along and say, you know what, this thing you really like, I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
That's fair, that's fine. What I don't like is when I describe something like, let's say I talk about the subtext in something and someone comes along and goes, that is bull, you're reading too much into it. I'm like, well, listen here. When the people that actually make these shows that I'm talking about come to me and say, I'm so glad you noticed, you're the first person to have ever actually publicly said this thing that I was intending, then I think I'll listen to them rather than you.
Maybe that's only the third time you've mentioned that.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was very pleased. One of them actually said it on recording, and I edited it out of the thing I released because I didn't want to seem like I was being big-headed.
Yeah.
But
no, having a difference of opinion is a good thing. And you know what's great as well? First off, don't ever apologize about your opinion in something like this, because you're allowed to have a different opinion. And I like how you have your different opinion because you've explained it. But you're not a robot. I mean, if you are, that's really cool, and I'm sorry if I offended you, but I like robots. But we can't all be a carbon copy of each other. And I know sometimes the world wants us to be, but you know what? We have to stand up against that and just be who we can be.
Mm-hmm. So just to finish off the comment where Julia says, I do have a question. Does Big Mikey P hate me because he feels the need to comment on what I have to say on everything? No, Big Mikey P's just trying to make friends.
I think Big Mikey P's kind of like me. In a way. And I'm only saying this, I've never met Big Mikey P. I think he's a pretty cool guy. But I think he's a little bit like me, is sometimes when I feel like, this is why I don't have a ton of friends, because they get annoyed with it. When I feel like I'm part of something, I feel like I'm comfortable enough to talk about it to people. And sometimes, I'm not saying this is what happens with Mikey P, but this is how I feel I do sometimes. I feel that I have to talk about everything with you. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? I'm not blaming him of that. I just think that's kind of something that...
It's all your fault. No, it's not.
No,
he's just trying to make friends.
Yeah, and I'm trying to make friends too. Mm-hmm. Which is, by the way, you either get a ton of me or you get none of me.
There's no in the middle.
Yeah.
Right, next comment then. It's Harry Flew TV, who says, my favourite Lex Luthor is the DCAU version. Hot damn, he's sexy. There's a reason why they say melts in your mouth, not in your hand, lol. Okay. Hope you two had a great week. Also, let's hope Nicholas Hoult can pull off Lex Luthor in the new DC universe. I think that comment thing happened to me again too, because it didn't come through in the last episode you guys did, lol. YouTube has been very flaky recently. In my last premiere, like the first minute was really spluttery, and it made me mad. But anyway.
YouTube is really great, but sometimes it's just so odd with comments, or at the moment I'm having this really weird thing with the algorithm. It's trying to push certain things that I would never watch, but that doesn't matter to me as much as the comments not showing up. Mm-hmm. It's odd. Maybe they're going through a breakup or something.
Maybe. I mean, they are a massive platform that's used by billions of people, so I guess...
You would think that they would have their shit together.
Yeah, but things kind of wobble and fall apart. But anyway.
No one's perfect.
No.
Except for... I was going to say Clancy Brown. You know what? I'm going to do it. Other than Clancy Brown.
Fair. All right, so on to the last comment then, and this is from Screen Wiper, who says John Cryer was underrated as Lex Luthor. So underrated that his mention in this was only brief. It's mostly because I didn't watch him in Supergirl. And that is the answer why. Totally Spies was just thinly veiled sexual fetishes. A different kink was the theme of each episode. I've not actually watched Totally Spies, but... Well, maybe I will now.
Why did you have to go Southern? Like,
that wasn't Southern.
It sounded like you were trying to sound like Michael Keaton.
No. That's like a lecherous voice. Okay. Anyway.
I was about to say,
well, the joke's ruined now.
Yeah, just don't make all Southern people terrible.
I wasn't doing a Southern accent.
Okay, good.
Plenty of videos on YouTube argue this point well. If you're interested, I recommend one by Saberspark. I know plenty of kids' cartoons trigger a lot of people's fetish developments. I know some of mine started from cartoons I saw as a young kid, but Totally Spies took it up a level. I wonder how kinky the people who grew up watching it became. I was already mostly grown up when it came out. I was going to make a joke then, but I'm not going to do it. And not about Screen Wiper, about one of our other commenters who gets a lot of our oxygen, but they'll know. They'll know. Oh, okay, Mary, those are all the comments. I need to stop now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to double check that's definitely all of them.
This is why sometimes when people are talking to me, I will literally tell them, like, I don't know what you're talking about. They get angry and say I wasn't listening. And I was like, no, I was listening. I just didn't get it.
Right, those actually were all the comments that are showing up on here. So if you left a comment and we didn't read it, it's because YouTube did not let us see it.
YouTube, fix it.
Yeah, hashtag fix it.
Hashtag totally Schway. Hashtag JLass. I think my antidepressant has started to work in the past 2 weeks.
Oh,
it's started to kick in because I'm a little bit too joyous.
So, with that out of the way, Mary, what are we talking about next time?
So next time is a topic that's near and dear to my left wrist.
Yeah, I'm glad you made that joke.
It's Marlon Brando. I have mentioned my tattoo before. I just have the name Brando on because I love Marlon Brando. And we'll talk more about that next time. But yeah, it's going to be talking about Marlon Brando.
Yes.
And I think what I want to be very clear about is I understand that there's a lot of actors and actresses and performers out there that have a lot of controversy. I think we're going to stick with the movies and a little bit of the music, the bongos. But I think I want to stay away from the controversy.
Fair enough.
If that's okay.
I'll keep that in mind.
Because I like Marlon Brando not for his personal life, but for the movies that helped me get through a difficult childhood. Probably not the movies I should have been watching. 1972's Last Tango in Paris. Okay, so I'm going to end this with saying I love all of you guys. And I'm really, really, really happy that you all exist. It is really cool that I can talk to people. I'm not going to say IRL because you guys are my real life, but in person and say, oh yeah, my friend la-di-da or my friend la-di-da. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm usually talking about the chickens. I'm not going to lie. I talk about the chickens a lot. I'm really happy about them. It's cool that I can say that I've got so many friends and it makes me so grateful and I love it. Luke's grabbing his nose, what is that called? The bridge?
The bridge, yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Because I'm tired.
You should have went to sleep.
I did go to... I've had a very busy week, and I've got an even busier one coming up, and I've got to get all my videos done ahead of time, otherwise I'll miss my schedule, so...
You know what I have to do this week?
What?
Draw. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I think we're done now, aren't we?
Yeah, I love you guys, and I hope you have a great week ahead, and tune in next time so we can talk about Marlon Brando. And we're going to be talking about pigeons as well, just saying.